Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Live with Normal. I'm JM Padini, Development Director for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. It's Friday, March 29, 2024. You know what that means? It's time for me to answer your burning questions live. And I know it's going to be a fiery show today. Friends, take a quick second wherever you're watching. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like, follow, or subscribe button so you never miss when Normal goes live. We try to do it every week, usually Friday at 4 Eastern. And hey, drop a quick note in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Happy Friday to you, Sherry, in Northern Virginia. Hey, Tree, good to see you. Welcome back, friend. Hey, Jason, hi to you in Minnesota. Hey, Local 757 on Instagram. I see you there. Hello, Cassidy. Welcome back. I know you can't miss this one. Hey, Aloft, also on Instagram in Minneapolis. The professor in Buffalo. Jenny in North Carolina. Not fancy today, Professor. Just doing my job. Only fancy from the waist up too. It's not. I'm just pretending. Hey, Rachel in Denver. Hey, Zig. Good to see you. Hey, I'm W in Virginia Beach and Nova in Washington. Oh, so many of you, so many people today immediately. Hey, Insulin and Nova. Hey, Woodyard, welcome back. Good to see you. Hey, Mans. That's a great question. That's a great question, Mans. We're probably just gonna talk about Virginia's governor first because that's what everyone's already shouting about. Hey, Bethlehem, I see you. Hey, Ryan and Fred. The Carter Project, Jason, Skeeter. All right. I will make you wait this week. We'll talk right off the bat about the biggest news of the week, which first of all, like the first part of this is it's not entirely unexpected. Virginia's governor vetoed two identical bills that would have allowed the state to license, finally, adult use retail cannabis dispensaries. I mean, I guess the governor, he really likes the illicit market and wants that to keep growing as it already has during his term. He wants to make sure it reaches peak volume before the next governor takes office. That's all I can glean from his veto. That and that he has no meaningful understanding of the actual widely accepted science and policy data on cannabis regulation in the United States. He said the craziest things. We hear a lot of crazy remarks in the media from elected officials here at Normal. We respond to some just really wild claims. And some of these, we just were scratching our head, like, where did you even get that idea from? Like, not just, like, did you maybe misunderstand what this paper or this, like, study that had to be retracted? Did you maybe read something like that? No, you just made it up? Okay. That's been fun. Hey, we have a blog debunking a lot of the BS that he was spewing. Enjoy that. Friends watching on Instagram, you can find links to the blog on Virginia Normal's Instagram. It will be on Normal's Instagram tonight. And you can also just head to the front page of Normal and see it there. Hey, Stencil, on Instagram, I see Stencil says bigger illicit market means more arrests. I mean, it could, but they're not really good at enforcing cannabis laws in Virginia. So, you know, who knows? He clearly doesn't care about legislating or policy making or good policy making in Virginia. He cares about politicking for whatever his next mission is. All right. Yes, Tim on Instagram. I agree with you. um, yeah. So uh, DRS Metal says the governor is very religious and an 80s war on drugs conservative. I don't think you're wrong. Insulin says he got that idea from alcohol, tobacco, big pharma lobby. He got it from actually, we know where he gets his talking points from, and they're sort of funneled to him from different law enforcement groups, but more so through this organization that doesn't really deserve to be named. But we will tell you that this organization is funded primarily by companies that make money on urine testing. So when it's not legal to test people's urine for weed, I guess your profits go down. And so there's a whole organization that's really funded by that industry. You know what they call it? They call it liquid gold. So gross. Hey, Cool on Twitter. I see you. Cool on Twitter says, I know we're all fighting for federal legalization, but at this point they could just reschedule it. They could reschedule it. Cool. It'd be pretty pointless. I mean, you can reschedule it. That doesn't do anything for any consumer in the United States for any reason. It doesn't make it easier to research. The research restrictions on cannabis are specific to cannabis and were adopted prior to marijuana ever being added to the Federal Controlled Substances Act of 1970. So, yeah, I think it makes some people get excited at the idea that they might possibly get to have tax deductions, but that even that remains to be seen. Shareholder tears. Let's see you. Hey, ma'ams. Yeah, I think you were right, ma'ams. While this does seem to be like a personal issue for the governor with his comments about I'm just not interested in cannabis. Neat. I'm not interested in tax law, but here we are. And was it more of a bargaining chip for the arena? It was absolutely a bargaining chip for the arena. I thought it was lame, trite. I'm not a fan of the dumb weed jokes that make their way into to people's quotes as if they're so funny. They're the first person who's ever thought of it. But in his arena failed deal comment, he said that it went up in smoke, and that was really the red flag that okay, this is what's going to happen. The veto is coming. Hey, Amy, good to see you. Amy asks if we have to start all over again in Virginia with adult use. Yeah, so Amy, veto session, reconvened session, as it's technically called, is April 17th in Virginia. And so lawmakers will have the opportunity to overturn the governor's veto. It's unlikely that his caucus is going to vote against their high commanders' wishes, but they could overturn his veto if they wanted. But listen, Amy, since you asked, we do have an action alert up. Where is it? There it is. We do have an action alert up, so you can write your lawmakers right now and ask them to overturn the veto. If they don't, Amy, then yeah, It'll be round 4 in 2025. Well, that'd be fun. I don't know about that. I'm not definitely astronaut. I'm definitely not going to give that clown show of an organization any mention on our social media that just is infinitely larger. Our reach is so much larger than theirs. I'm not giving them any time of day. Hi, Candace. Hey, Tim. Tim says, thankfully, it's easy to get a medical card in Virginia. You're right, it is. And you're welcome. Wow. All right. Hey, Christopher, welcome back. Welcome back. Christopher says, when do I think we are going to get a scheduling announcement from the DEA? You know, we keep hearing these whispers, and the whispers will get real loud for a minute that, oh, something's coming, something's coming. But we're also of the opinion that that's people just trying to inflate their stock prices. So we're super skeptical here at NORML. The DEA is not obligated to abide by any timeline in regards to HHS's recommendation, or in which they would then conduct their own review. They're not required to just look at HHS's recommendation and go, well, that's what we're going to do, because they're not. They would conduct their own review, and they're not held to some sort of timeline. So when are they going to? Who knows? But stay tuned for the next super loud whisper campaign that it's coming any day now, and that it doesn't mean anything for you or any other consumer in the United States, because you'll still be violating federal law just as much if marijuana is Schedule 3 as if it's Schedule 1. Thanks. I'm only wearing the top part of it. Hey, Mike, which current legal state did this bill closely mirror? Virginia's? No one's. It didn't closely mirror anyone's. It is a hodgepodge of stuff. It's kind of like, no, it doesn't closely mirror anyone's. Some of the provisions are very similar to Maryland's provisions. There was an attempt to mirror exactly Maryland's 9% tax rate, but because of the way the budget was written, it got up to like 11.625%, which is still fairly close to Maryland's 9% tax rate. And then some of the equity provisions were similar to Maryland's, but a lot of the stuff was just wacko. Sorry, Tamara, I was trying to read your question. Probably not. Probably not is my answer. Yes, stencil deschedule is the only sane thing to do. And the problem with rescheduling at any schedule is, aside from them not doing anything, is it lets people think they've done something, and then where's the incentive to actually do what needs to be done, which is for Congress to pass a bill to remove marijuana from the Federal Controlled Substances Act and allow the states to set their own policies without threat of federal interference. You know. Hey, State Line on Instagram asks, do we think the employment protection still has a chance? That's a really interesting question. It depends on how bent out of shape he is. There's nothing controversial in that bill. So is there any reason why he shouldn't sign it? No. But is he like raging right now? I don't know. I think the real canary in the coal mine on other cannabis bills is House Bill 815, which is just a real boring technical amendment bill for the medical cannabis program. It changes an expiration date. Right now, we make medical cannabis products expire. It's 6 months. There's not any science to support 6 months. It's unnecessary, and we want to change that to 12 months. But and Delegate Cherry carried the bill. He's a Republican, so there shouldn't be any controversy around that. But if he vetoes that, then we can expect everything else is going to be vetoed. If he signs anything, it's most likely that it would be that Cherry bill. But we'll see. Hey, Amy. Amy asked, so buying from these stores already set up that Art Medical is illegal. So technically, Amy, the action is selling. The action that is illegal is selling. There was no intent to criminalize consumers by the previous administration. And so it is intentionally specific to the sale itself being illegal, as opposed to the purchase. Yes, DRS, the government does have a patent on cannabinoids. All right, let's see if we can get into any of the other news. In better-ish news, Delaware lawmakers sent a medical cannabis expansion bill to their governor's desk, though he's pretty wishy-washy on cannabis, so fingers crossed for that. This bill would allow healthcare providers, doctors, to issue recommendations based on their opinions as opposed to a made-up list of conditions by the state legislature. It also would allow those who are 65 or older to self-certify for a registration card without a doctor certification. I think as of earlier today, over 300 people had sent letters in support of this bill to the governor. So if you are in Delaware, be sure you are sending that action alert. Fingers crossed that the bill gets signed. More and more states are moving to a let doctors decide model. Listen, if Virginia can have it, anyone should be able to have it. We saw some insane claims regarding legalization and what the public thinks and what happens post legalization and all this stuff from the governor of Virginia. I'm trying really hard not to say mean things. I don't expect it to last long. But in the same week that he makes all these wild made-up claims, Pew Research released their latest poll on marijuana, and 88% of Americans, say that again, 88% of Americans oppose criminalizing marijuana. 88% of Americans oppose criminalizing marijuana. So talk about being out of touch. 8%. It's just a Pew poll. Supply Chain is asking what's been done to engage more conservative politicians in this conversation. I mean, the same thing that's being done to engage anyone, providing well-researched, easy-to-read information on the reality of cannabis regulation in the United States, based on over 2 decades of real-world regulatory experience, presented in a non-partisan, non-biased manner. It's free. We look like adults, and we talk to you in a nice, normal way. So everyone gets the same information regardless of their party. Thank you, Candace. Yeah, supply chain. I talk to Republican lawmakers all the time. I have great relationship with Republican lawmakers, not only in Virginia but in other states and in DC as well. It doesn't matter that you know your party is irrelevant. It's how you're going to vote at the end of the day. And there are Republican lawmakers in Virginia, for example, who support legalization and want to see retail sales begin, but they get their hands tied by the caucus, and then you'll see how they vote, and it will not be favorably. So that's just the reality of politics. Often people will tell you, hey, here's how I really think, here's how I personally feel, and then they do not vote that way when push comes to shove. That is not uncommon. Yeah, Ryan, he's not going to gain more voter support by jumping on this bandwagon, but that'd be cute, wouldn't it? I mean, he could have. There were so many ways he could have said he was cleaning up a problem Democrats left him to solve. He could have said he was taking marijuana off the street corner and putting it behind age-verified counter. Hell, he could have just turned on sales at existing medical operators and said just that. He could have done that. Could have done a lot of things, but instead he did nothing and wants people to buy weed from dealers instead. Hi, Wade. You missed me being spicy and trying not to be mean. Ryan, there you go. Ryan nails it with a lot of Republicans being for it nowadays. They're just afraid of losing elections. Yeah, Ryan, often they're not certain how it polls in their district. The real difficult part about that is you just have to ask people what they think. And you have to ask it in a way that's not stupid. Rarely do electeds know where their constituency stands on issues of cannabis. We do, though, because they talk to us all the time. Speaking of outlandish claims, it would have been a lot easier if I'd had the link to this story that I want you to read. Let's just get that real quick. Youngkin also made some weird made-up claim that people don't transition to the legal market, that legalizing retail sales doesn't do anything to impact the illicit market, which, I mean, Google's free. You don't have to just believe nonsense when you can look it up. And I'm going to make it real easy for you, Governor Youngkin, and anyone else who's interested right now. Here's the latest study, and this is just the latest one. There's a lot. We write about this all the time. New study shows a growing percentage of cannabis consumers are transitioning to the legal market. Shocking, I know. And yeah, I mean, it's consistent with other data. Researchers in this study also, reported that the percentage of respondents who acknowledge obtaining cannabis from legal sources is steadily increasing. I don't know what I did to make my glasses so dirty, but I can barely see what's going on. There we go. Hey, Skeeter. Skeeter asks, is there any hope for adult use legalization in North Carolina? In this session, no. I know Ted Budd is opposed, but not sure about others in office. Yeah, no. Maybe that was a little too buzzkill. Maybe I was a little too quick on the draw for you, Skeeter, but look, I'm not here to blow smoke. I'm here to tell you honest answers and demystify the process. There are, let's see, we have one action alert in North Carolina right now, and it is for the Compassionate Care Act, which is Senate Bill 3. This is a place we need to start in North Carolina. So, Skeeter, I encourage you to email your legislators in support of that bill. Here it is, coming at you. Hi, Samuel. Christopher and Samuel both have a lot of feelings about North Carolina. There you go. Look at what, yeah, right, Samuel. It's nice to go to the grocery store and buy water that comes in a can that I don't have to worry if it's contaminated. It's what we're used to in the United States for consumer products. Same thing applies to cannabis products. Oh, hey, Insulin. Insulin asks, has this dude not been to Canada, California, Colorado, Maryland, Arizona, or any other place has adult use? Apparently not. But he does listen to people who send him rhetoric, apparently. I can't see what you're responding to, Tree, but I'm glad that you said this. Right. Like, should people be able to cultivate at home? Absolutely. Something NORML strongly believes in. In Virginia, it's yes, you can, at least you can cultivate at home. Um, and like, I could also, if I can grow tomatoes at home. Sometimes I do grow tomatoes at home, but I still go buy them at the grocery store. Um, so home cultivation is not a threat to the industry. We hear this a lot. We get people who get worked up and they're like, "Oh, the industry is opposing home cultivation." I'm not aware of. Look, I am aware that sometimes local people show up and say weird things in their testimony, but I'm not aware of any actual effort by large scale cannabis companies. Don't come at me with your nonsense. Uh, to oppose personal cultivation. We have MSOs in Virginia and they couldn't care less. Right? Yes, exactly. Insulin cultivation at home is an amazing hobby, but also a difficult hobby. It can be difficult growing tomatoes, and they get blight, and so then I go buy them at Publix. Wade has a great question. Wade says, if something becomes legal federally, how can any state have a say over what someone does on their private property? Um, well, Wade, let's use alcohol as an example. Alcohol is not on the Federal Controlled Substances Act, neither is tobacco. And each state still sets their own policies related to alcohol and tobacco. You can't legally operate a still, by and large, on your property, but alcohol's legal. So there you go. Samuel is talking about North Carolina and says Cherokee, which is tribal land in North Carolina, is about to start selling in their medical cannabis program. Do you have to have so you just have to have any medical card, Samuel? You have to have one issued by whom? How is one qualified for that in Cherokee? Exactly. State line says look at craft beer. Homegrown will always have its place. All right. In-stater, thank you, Samuel, for answering the question about North Carolina, Cherokee. reservation will apparently, according to Samuel, accept in or out of state medical cannabis cards. Tree thinks you can get the card while you're there as well. Amy asked if you buy from one of these stores, is it on them or do you get trouble too? Do you mean an unregulated store in Virginia? Let me know, Amy, what you're asking. uh, yeah, cannabis prohibition has been even longer than that. It goes well back to the 30s. Yeah, I like that comment on Instagram about the landscape of cannabis as a patchwork quilt of progress and prohibition. Indeed, it is. Yeah, Amy, again, unregulated stores. Law in Virginia is specific to the sale, not the purchase. All right. Oklahoma. Let's talk about Oklahoma. What's working? Let's just ease our way down this list of. Hey, Tamara. Let's just ease our way down this list of news. I got a lot of news for you this week. This is not delightful. I wasn't surprised to see this lab report come out of Oklahoma because Oklahoma. But a lab report there finds that medical cannabis sold at dispensaries in Oklahoma is often contains lower quantities of THC than is on the labels of those products. We've known for some time that the lack of regulatory oversight for cannabis labs in the US is problematic, that lab shopping is an issue, that unqualified labs is a huge issue, and that THC inflation continues to be an issue. Oklahoma's lab report found that that is indeed an issue in that state. Let's talk about Florida, Archizen 44. What do you want to talk about? And Wise Guy on Instagram, yes, Virginia's does already have a huge illicit market, and it's just further emboldening that by not enacting retail sales. 2023's illicit market was valued at $2.4 billion. Don't know what that comment about Oklahoma means, Christopher. Feel free to expand. DeSantis is yuck. I thought perhaps you were going to ask about the Supreme Court in Florida, which will be issuing a ruling on the ballot initiative, the voter initiated referendum in the state of Florida to legalize adult use. The Supreme Court will be issuing the ruling by 4 p.m. on Monday the 1st. Also, still, DeSantis sucks. Oh, thank you, Christopher, for explaining. Yeah, hey, thanks for bringing that up, Christopher. On April 1st, legalization takes effect in Germany. It's not an April Fool's joke. Gonna see us talk about it. I feel like everything that we post on April 1st has to say not a joke, and it's not. Legalization really does take effect on April 1st in Germany. The way I read it is specific to residents. I don't know if that makes it illegal for non-residents, but April 1st. Congratulations, Germany. I know NORML France was really excited about that. Right. So I'll just skip that one for a minute. We'll give you some good news. In Washington State, they passed a law, a new law, a law. They passed a law that will exempt medical cannabis patients from the 37% excise tax when they buy certain products. Wow. City of Virginia. Nope, I don't know why that's happening. 37% is a real high tax rate. Can you imagine? I mean, everyone in Washington can apparently imagine paying 37% on medical cannabis. There's zero medical cannabis tax in Virginia because it's medicine. But fortunately, Washington legislature saw the light and decided to permit an exemption on certain products. Now, what I know about this is that it is products that come with some designation on them. It says like Department of Health, not approved, but something like that. I'm going to tell you what it says in a minute. DOH compliant, meaning Department of Health compliant. And at first I kind of went, well, okay, what's that going to mean? What it means is that these products have undergone more rigorous safety testing than is typically required under state law. So that seems great, doubly great. Yes, more safety testing. Consumers deserve that. Consumers also deserve not to pay 37% excise tax. So yeah, if you're worried about your illicit market, reduce your tax rate. I'm not going in order. I hope I don't tell you things twice, but let's talk about this one. Speaking of consumer safety, there was an analysis done, and you will be not at all surprised by the results. Now, not to sound alarmist, but if you're gonna, set things on fire and inhale them, you should probably know what's in there. And this analysis looked at cannabis vape cartridges and found that there were heavy metals present in some of them. There was a belief that this was actually happening during the manufacturing process, and it was far more common in unregulated products. Shocking, I know. Anyhow, the more you know. Yeah, two doors. One is adult and one is medical. James asked, "How can I make legal weed in Virginia?" I mean, you can grow legal weed in Virginia. You just have to be 21. Is that what you mean? What am I drinking? I'm drinking Waterloo strawberry. Not that exciting. It could be. It's not though. It's just water. It smells like strawberries. I guess it's supposed to taste like strawberry, but it just tastes like seltzer water. It smells like it though. And I have to drink a lot of water to get through this show. Yeah, so look, consumer safety matters. That's why labs should be run by qualified scientists, not, people playing laboratory in their garage. Also, maybe don't vape heavy metals. That sounds gross. Let's see. Did I get you all the news? That was a lot of news. Oh no, I have one more that I've left till the end because I feel like not that there's anything wrong with saying the same thing over and over again. But we have this topic a lot. there was a study done on patients who use opioids, and in particular, patients who are in a maintenance regimen with opioids. And the patients reported, even patients who were not permitted to use cannabis as part of this program, they still said, well, we do, and it helps us um, use less of other drugs, which is something we've reported on time and time again. What we really like about this study is the investigators concluded, quote, our results suggest that cannabis could be considered as a strategy for harm reduction and opioid maintenance treatment. Yes. Yes, yes, it could be. Sure could be. Thank you, Booly Cat. And that's it. That's the news. Hey, do you have questions? Do you want to ask me questions about your state? Because now's the time. If you liked all of this news, you can get it in your inbox every Thursday and Saturday. In fact, it's not too late to make sure that NORML's weekend weed read makes its way into your inbox tomorrow between 9 and 9:15 Eastern. All you have to do is head to norml.org/subscribe. NORML, NORML.org/subscribe. Make sure you check the weekend weed read box, and then it will be yours. Saturday mornings. It's perfect with your morning cup of coffee. I don't know. Why are you here? There are a lot of studies, Ryan, on cannabis as a harm reduction modality related to opioid, whether it be cessation or better adherence to medication-assisted treatment, or on the reductions related to opioid overdose fatalities and hospitalizations that occurs post enactment of medical or adult use access. So a whole lot of information on cannabis and opioids. And in fact, I believe we have a fact sheet, Ryan, on cannabis as an exit drug. I thought I'd be so cool and get that real quick, but look, I can't find it. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm fairly certain that we do have some information regarding cannabis as an exit drug somewhere on the NORML website, which is like 10,000 pages long. So you go find it. It's probably in this. It's probably in here somewhere. I'll find it for you. You're welcome, Amy. Thank you for being here. Florida, March 1st, my thoughts. Can you give me help, more information, please? More information needed. Yes, Steve, I think this is great advice for everyone who has terrible elected officials in their state, or who has terrible cannabis laws in their state. I found it. Any updates from? Okay, yeah. So if you have terrible Amy, I can't reach or Sherry, I can't reach my sign. It's too far away. If you have terrible lawmakers, vote in better ones. You want to find out where the candidates stand on cannabis policy before you head to the ballot box. Cool. We love that. We love it so much. In fact, we made you a voter guide. It's called Smoke the Vote, because jokes. And I'm going to give you a link to it and weirdly capitalize a lot of unnecessary letters in the comments. For those of you who can't see these comments, you can go to vote.normal.org. That's vote.normal.org. And you can see where the candidates stand before you vote for them. And I understand people vote for a variety of issues, based on a variety of issues, but we're all here to talk about cannabis policy. I love when people are like, yeah, well, I don't vote based on cannabis. Cool. That's what this whole organization is about. We've been doing it for over half a century. So that's what we're going to talk about here, okay? I'm going to change, speaking of the Smoke the Vote voter guide to legalizing marijuana in your state, I'm going to change some grades in Virginia this week. Guess who's getting the F? Just for funsies. That's what it stands for. I bet you can guess what else the F stands for. Yeah, Ryan, I put up an action alert for Virginia's veto. Oh, and I'm sorry, Steve. Steve, you asked about any updates about North Carolina and the Cherokee dispensary. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit ago, and I believe that sales are slated to begin on April 20th. Shocking, I know. What a date. And we will, I'm sure, have more information about that. My general understanding, based on our friends in the comments, is that you need a medical card from somewhere. Tamara, I can see your comment. No opinion about DeSantis in the bill. I'm sorry. Thank you for clarifying for me, R. Kaizen. DeSantis and the bill. Is there a bill that DeSantis has to sign by March 1st? Is that what you mean? I'm gonna go look at Florida's action page now and see what we don't have any action orders pending for Florida. What I know about Florida is that there is a voter referendum underway to legalize adult use, and the Supreme Court will be ruling on the most recent legal challenge to that initiative by 4 p.m. on April 1st. How am I feeling today? Feeling super. Thank you for asking. And I see your other question, Magic, on Instagram about when is the other Rise dispensary opening. That's because they're moving one, right? I don't know, but maybe they're watching. And when is your other? I'm just going to ask them, when is your new dispensary opening? How about that? We'll see if they text back in the middle of the show. I don't have a date, but they'll probably give me one. If not, just watch our Virginia NORML has a dispensaries page, and I will update that. I know you can. Let me see if I can put it up. I'm going to live dangerously and post it. I don't generally post comments on Instagram during the live because it's a very finicky, but there it is. I did it. Usually Rise is pretty good about posting their location updates. I know they've been getting inspected, but I don't know when their store is supposed to open. But I'll let you know. I'll put it on the dispensary page when they let us know. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so Archizen on Instagram about April Fools for the Supreme Court ruling date. It's actually supposed to be sooner than that, but it should be Friday, but it should be today. But because today the courts are closed today in Florida, because of course they are, then it kicks it to April 1st. So that's why. Hello, Pot Calls the Kettle Bong, joining us 5 minutes before the show ends. Hey, Magic, I have an answer for you. The ribbon cutting is on April 3rd, and the opening is on April 4th. Huzzah. So there you go. Would love to have me. I'm not going down there next week, but I would love to be there. Hi, David. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, back to you, David Holland, as well. We were talking about you on it positively on another Zoom I was on today about CWCB Expo. How's everyone's doing? Great. Thank you for asking. Pot calls the kettle bong. Everyone, feel free to let Pot calls the kettle bong know how you're doing. Yes, and you too, Trike with Mike. See you finally joining us. I mean, you could have been here this whole time, and I just didn't know. This has been fun. Look, these vetoes in Virginia were not unexpected, but they are unnecessary. We didn't need to go down this road of political nonsense is the word I'm going to use. It's not the word I want to use, but we're going to say nonsense. We didn't need to do that. You could have just signed the bill. But you didn't, and so now I make ugly pictures of you and post them on the internet. You're welcome. I hope everyone enjoys that photo. Please share it widely because it's funny. What else can I tell you about? There's cannabis legislation pending across the United States and at the federal level, and no time like the present to visit NORML's Take Action Center. And listen, it takes like 3 seconds. Like, it's so quick. You go to normal.org/act. You can get to it from the front page. Just click on Take Action and click on your state, and then it'll show you what bills are pending. And there's also a whole list of federal alerts as well. So when you get to those, it takes like 3 or 4 clicks, and it sends emails from you, not from us, directly from you. And they come labeled from you to your elected officials in support of good cannabis bills and in opposition to bad cannabis bills. So do that. If you aren't writing your lawmakers and letting them know where you stand on cannabis, then why do we have any reason to believe they will change their opinions? So do that. Do that, please. Do that so much. Hey Magic asks, how can we volunteer with NORML and get involved in that way? I want to help out other than vote. And yes, I love that. First of all, way number one, I have to get ready for two things because I know you're in Virginia. Number one, join NORML. Join NORML, and you get this super awesome card from me. The next time I actually send these cards out myself. I sit right here and I package them all up and mail them out. So yay, please become a 2024 member of NORML. You will get this card. It will be awesome. I will pull the next round of memberships to mail on April 1st. So if you want to get your card in the next batch, join before April 1st. Next, join your state chapter. For example, you could join if you are in Virginia, or you could join Virginia NORML if you're anywhere. It doesn't matter. But listen, you can join and you can get your state card. Most states are going to have cards, something like this. If your state doesn't have a NORML chapter, please start one. Just go to norml.org/chapters, and there's a link to the how to start a chapter page, or you can email chapters@norml.org, and I'll have one of our interns write you back with, hey, here's the application. Please go fill it out. Thanks, Magic. You will sign up tomorrow, and that'll be great. Hey, Asher on Instagram says you've been a lifetime member of NORML since 1984. Awesome. Asher on Instagram also talks about being in Pennsylvania and how their legislature does not feel an obligation to act upon the will of the voters. You're not wrong. I've done some testifying and lobbying in Pennsylvania, and it's kind of special there. But you know, you have some good NORML activists in Pennsylvania. Jeff Reedy is amazing. So make sure you're getting connected with Lehigh Valley NORML. Kelly Stover, you became a deputized registration clerk through the county registry and register people to vote. Awesome. That's so great. Samuel says I have a couple of old freedom cards. We still actually have freedom cards. I kind of forget that we do. But since you brought it up, I'm going to find the link to it right here. This is something that you can print at home. You can print your own now. We formulated it. That's not correct. We formatted it so that you can print it at home and fold it, or you can get the. It's designed to work with a specific Avery template, so that you can just print it out and whatever, fold it up, and there you go. There's the link to it. I'll be bold and I'll be super bold and put it on Instagram too. Please don't shut down. Please don't shut down my feed while I'm doing this, Instagram. I'm living dangerously. 4 p.m. Eastern. Vera, about what? When we go live? We go live 4 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. Unless I have to go on vacation or be sick. Though when I broke my foot, I just did the lives from home. Why wouldn't you? You got them when you ordered the old school NORML shirt. I brought those back, Samuel. The blue and gold one. We have that in the NORML store. Our NORML store's got some issues right now because Stripe is big mad that there's the word marijuana in our name, so they turned off our payment processing. This is a thing that's still happening in 2024. So don't order anything from the NORML store right now, but come back next week. Magic, I'm glad that CBD salve is helping you with your ankle. That's nice. Yeah, Booley, I'm not kidding. Like, why are we even having these I'm so over it. Christopher, email me at orders@norml.org and I can answer that question. I will just go tell me which one you want. Like, look at our store and see which shirt you're looking for, and then I'll ask our printer what size they have. And it might end up being a slightly different shirt, but I'm sure they have something. No, like, just email me. Tell me what number you want. God bless America. You all riot. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's it. We did it all. And it's after 5, so we really did it all. Oh, I'm going to tell you about some events first, because those are important. Hey, we have a couple of events coming up in April, and I'm going to be at them. So come see me, unless you're a jerk, and then don't. First up, we have the National Cannabis Policy Summit, April 17th at the Martin Luther King Jr. Public Library in Washington, D.C. You can sign up for this on the National Cannabis Festival website. Christopher's given everyone the permission to take the rest of the day off. Living Dangerously, posting that in the comments on Instagram as well. NationalCannabisFestival.com. Just like under events or something, you can find it. I can't right now. I'm broken. I'm done. Where does it live? Under experiences. I'm going to commit that to memory, Caroline, I swear. Under experiences. But it's free, so come to that and see NORML. If you love the National Cannabis Policy Summit on April 17th, you're going to love the National Cannabis Festival, which is now a 2-day event. Huzzah, Caroline. A 2-day event, April 19th and 20th at RFK Stadium Festival Grounds in Washington, D.C., nationalcannabisfestival.com. VIP tickets, early entrance tickets, and regular tickets are available now. This event has sold out for many years now, so get your tickets now if you're thinking about going to the National Cannabis Festival. Booley Cat asks about DC Go-Go bands. I know Backyard Band is there. Backyard Band is there. You should go, Magic. It's a lot. Hey, if you are in the okay, here we are. If you are in the Philly area, on 420, Weeding Out the Stoned, which is a hilarious show. It's the game show of sobriety tests. It is hilarious. They have been friends of NORML for many years now. April 20th at the Helium Comedy Club in Philly. The group of players enter the game, and all of them are stoned but one. It's up to the audience to find the sober one so that the audience can win sweet, sweet prizes. Check that out. Check that out. You can find Weeding Out the Stoned on Instagram as well. Also on 420, I assume it's on 420 because it's called the Kentucky NORML 420 Music Fest. Will be at White Squirrel Brewery in Bowling Green, Kentucky. There we go. I'm working on it. You can find all of that information out on kynormal.org. Kentucky Normal is also on Instagram. Those of you on Facebook and YouTube should see a link to it as well. Those are all the April events I have to tell you about, but I have one event coming up in May and into June that you need to know because it's amazing and you want to plan if you're going to go to this. It's the 2024 NORML Aspen Legal Seminar at the Gant in beautiful Aspen, Colorado. This is May 30th through June 1st. If you are an attorney who needs continuing legal education credits, this seminar is fully accredited in every state that requires CLEs for attorneys. If you do not need CLEs or you're not an attorney, good news, we have a discounted rate for you. This is really an incredible event. Check it out at normal.org/Aspen. Register. Come hang out in Aspen with me, meet old friends, see old friends, make new ones, and connect with legal experts across the country specializing in cannabis law and science. Got it. Also coming up right after that will be the Cannabis World Congress and Business Exposition, better known as CWCB Expo, including the NORML Formal, which is a great event in New York City. It will be at the bash, the rooftop bash this year. That is the kickoff event for CWCB Expo. Christopher is asking me about my favorite cannabis. My favorite cannabis is legal cannabis. I'm going to say that every time someone asks because I'm funny. Can I repeat the location of Aspen? Aspen is at the Gant in Aspen, Colorado. Yes, Christopher, I am a nerd and yep, you're welcome. But I'm funny. All right, those are all of the events. Hey, if you're a NORML chapter and you have an event and I don't know about it, you should tell me because then I could talk about it here. See how that goes? All right, friends, this has been great. Hey, be sure you hit that like, follow, or subscribe button wherever you're watching so you never miss when NORML goes live. Make sure you join NORML, normal.org/join. Get your card. I'm sending them out early next week, so join before the 1st or sometime early on the 1st. So you get your card soon, right? Have a great weekend. Come back here next Friday, talk about all this, and I'll try my best to answer all of your burning questions live. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.